Welcome, everybody. It's so great to have you here where we are going to be talking about Friday. And if you're English speaking like me, I had to go and look up what Farai actually meant and was thrilled to see that it means rejoice. So here we are rejoicing on this Friday. And in the English language, or if you are speaking English, you're probably more familiar with TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. And this got me thinking that if we are only rejoicing or giving thanks on a Friday, from the start of this year until now, we have only rejoiced and given thanks on 44 days of the year. And unbelievably, it's November. It seems that this year has slipped like sand through our fingers. And what I've got to wonder about is why aren't we saying TGIM or TGIT or TGIW? What is it in the way that we are living that we are so hanging on by a thread that we are only rejoicing on a Friday? And this got me thinking, is there another way that I could support myself and support you to live a different life that doesn't leave us only rejoicing on 52 days of the year? A way that we could live life that allows us to rejoice every day. So I've taken some liberties with the words TGIF, and hopefully this is going to allow us to celebrate on more days than just a Friday. And the first word that I would like to share with you out of the TGIF is the word team. And why is team so important for us at this time? We seem to be living in a fractured world where we have very, very little leadership. And even though we've got incredible technology that allows us to be connected, we're not. And we have the highest rate of mental illness that has ever been seen in the history of the world. And Tony Robbins says that the quality of our life is dependent on the quality of our relationships. And it seems that we are struggling to connect deeply to ourselves and deeply to each other during this time. And I know for myself that it's incredibly difficult for me to ask for help, for me to accept it when people offer to help me out. And I've had a very personal experience of what it means to need team around you. I was in the USA and with my children, my son lives there and my grandchildren live there. And we had decided on one evening to go to the world-class skate park in Reno. And the beautiful orange sun was setting in the azure sky. And I was watching my daughter glide on the skateboard. It's incredibly quiet and peaceful because the ground is so compact. And as I saw the sun glinting off her hair and her shadow falling behind her, I thought, I can do that. I used to be able to skateboard. I'm pretty sure that I can get on a skateboard now. And so I said to my son, pass me the skateboard. And he said to me, Mom, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I can skateboard. I remember skateboarding when I was 15. And I got on the skateboard and I slid down the hill and it was beautiful. And then I decided to give it a little bit more fun. And so I started to flip the skateboard from side to side. And as I was flipping the skateboard from side to side, I felt myself falling in slow motion. And as I put out my hand to break my fall, I knew that I shouldn't be doing that. But instinct just took over. And as I hit the ground, I felt a searing pain shoot up my right arm. And I stood up and I said, I don't think it's broken, it's just sprained, because I knew what was ahead. And I knew that I had felt that bone break and crunch in my wrist. The pain was excruciating. And so off we went to the emergency, and of course the bone was broken. And all I can say is thank goodness for medical insurance, because the Rand dollar exchange is not friendly at the moment. And then began this journey of healing, of being 8 weeks in a cast. And I had to call on my team big time during this time. My daughter was my Sherpa at the airport, carrying our bags as we did the 30-hour flight back home. And there are so few amenities and public places that take into account a person with only one arm. Try and wash your hand and push the button at the same time. Try and grind salt over your food with only one hand. You can't do it. Try opening a tin with one hand. No can do. And so I had to call on my team big time, my family, my friends, my clients to be understanding, my teammates at work, to assist me in these everyday things. And it was so hard. It was so hard for me to ask for help. And yet the interesting thing is that I love helping other people. One of my highest values is to make a difference. And yet it was so hard to receive this help. And what I realized as well is that one arm plus your other arm does not equal two arms. What you can achieve with two arms is not double what you can achieve with one arm. It is exponential. And so what we can achieve by connecting with our team and by being deeply connected with the people that are around us is far more than what we can achieve on our own. And instead of 1 + 1 equaling 2, 1 + 1 equals that magic number 11. And so through this connection with my family, with this deeper connection of allowing people in, of being vulnerable, of allowing myself to be helped, even though I feel like I'm so independent, that led me to be thinking about the next pillar, the G in TGIF, and that is gratitude. Because never before in my life have I been so grateful for the incredible people around me, for the love and the support that I received. And gratitude is like turning a light on in a dark room. It fills our life with light. And in free will that we have been given, I believe that we can choose, you can choose what energy you want to bring to every situation. What is the energy that you want to choose to bring to your life every single day? And recently, my husband decided to do the Fish River Canoe Marathon. And I was standing on the side of the river with our friend Gary. And I looked at the river and I looked at this incredible, beautiful nature that was around us. And I turned to Gary and I said to Gary, isn't this place and this river just so beautiful? And Gary turned to me with passion in his voice and he said to me, Heather, we are so lucky to be alive. And I looked at Gary with wonder, because Gary is a man who loves to paddle down beautiful rivers, who loves to ride his mountain bike in forests and over the deserts of Africa. And Gary has already lost one eye and is in the process of going blind in his other eye. And yet Gary is not choosing to focus on the fact that he is losing his sight. Gary is choosing to focus on, aren't we so lucky to be alive? And we have the choice to which lens do we want to view life with. If I take this plain glass of water here, and the water is your life, you can view life through the lens of this clear water. It's pretty neutral, doesn't add much. Or you can take your whole life events and pour it into this beautiful glass and look at your life through these rose-tinted glasses with gratitude for all of the small and beautiful miracles that are available to us every single day. And when you live from a place of gratitude, it allows us to experience the third pillar of living a fulfilled life. And that is the I for innocence. Because when we live from a place of gratitude, it allows us to move into that place in our heart where love lives. That is beyond the pain that we have experienced. That is beyond the hurts that we have experienced. In Native American culture, the porcupine represents innocence. And incredibly enough, if a porcupine is unafraid, you can feed a porcupine out of your hand. And so one day, Porcupine was walking through the forest and she came across this beautiful log that she knew had just been put there for her. And she looked at the log and she started to dream of the ways that she could play with this log, that she could roll the log over and look under it and eat all the juicy worms. She could scratch her back on the log or stretch over it. And while Porcupine was dreaming of all the beautiful ways that she was going to play with this log, she heard footsteps and Bear appeared. And she got so excited because here she had a playmate. And she said to Bear, "Bear, come and play with me." And Bear looked down on her and said, "I don't play with porcupines or logs. I'm an adult." And Porcupine said to Bear, "But Bear, remember when you were a cub and you had such fun rolling around in the wet grass, feeling the dew on your fur?" And as Bear looked into Porcupine's beautiful, innocent eyes, he felt something move in him. And he started to feel himself filled with joy as he remembered what it was like to be a cub. And he looked down at Porcupine and he said, "Porcupine, in my desire to be an adult and grow up, I've become too concerned with what people think about me, and I've become an intellectual." And in looking into Porcupine's eyes, Bear regained his innocence. And he said to Porcupine, "I will come and play with you instead of being a bear with a sore head." And in that moment, Bear touched back into the innocence of his child. And if any of you have been hugged with open arms unconditionally by a child, if any of you have lain on the grass and looked up at the sky and seen the incredible images that those clouds have made, if you've ever done what I used to do with my dad when he came home from work in the dark, and we lay on the hot bonnet of his car and looked up at the stars in wonder, that is the place that innocence lives. That is the place where unconditional love lives. And then we get the opportunity to live from that place, to live in wonder of those everyday miracles, to come from a place of having a pure heart where we can connect with other people, heart to heart. And we can live in this incredible place called life from a place of innocence and wonder. And when we live from a place of innocence and wonder, we are reconnecting back into our essence. Which brings me to the fourth pillar, which is freedom. Freedom to be yourself. Freedom to be in touch with that beautiful essence that is the divine fingerprint of each of us. And I believe that we are part of a beautiful and divine jigsaw puzzle where each of us have our perfect expression and our perfect place in that puzzle. And when we lose sight or we lose touch with who we are, and we start to live into what other people expect of us, what we see on social media, when we start to curate ourselves into what we think other people want us to be, then what starts to happen is our edges start to blur. We start to lose touch with that essence of who we are, with that divine fingerprint that only we can express in this life. And when we start to do that, we start to lose connection with ourselves. We start to lose connection with the people around us. We no longer have a sense or a feeling that we fit. And when this starts to happen, that sense of disconnection and isolation and so much of what we see happening around us starts to happen. And like every tree, we are here to live into the fullest expression of who we are. It is our impetus, it is our heart's desire to grow into the fullness of who we are. And this might not be comfortable for every single person that is in our life. This might not be easy for the people around us. But then maybe it's time for them to take their jigsaw puzzle and go and put it in the perfect place that's right for them, so that you can have defined edges, that you can know who you are, that you can touch into your essence, and you can bring this beautiful expression of who you are, because it's within every single aspect of nature, including us, for us to grow and to move into the fullest expression of who we are. So that is my take on TGIF, on how we can live not just from one Friday to the next, but that we can live connected in team, connected to the people around us. For myself, through this healing journey that I've been through over the last 8 or 9 weeks of healing my arm, it's not only been the people around me that have made a huge difference. It's been my animals as well. Often my black Labrador would come when I was in so much pain and just put his head on my lap and just love me unconditionally. For me, I believe there were angels there that caught me so that I didn't have to stay in the States and have surgery on my arm. I didn't need to have that. So whatever and whoever's in your team, connect into them, connect deeply, open yourself up to be supported. Don't wait until you've broken your arm for you to be able to connect. Live into that place of gratitude. Take off the lenses that are allowing you to see the world from a negative place, and put on those beautiful lenses of gratitude so that we can be aware of this extraordinary life that we are living, whether it's your child taking your hand, whether it's being witness to a butterfly landing on a flower. All of these things can fill us with such gratitude and take us back into that place of innocence. That beautiful place that is within us, that is beyond the hurts that we've experienced, that is beyond the pain, that is beyond the expectations that haven't been met, that allow us to love unconditionally, and then to be free to be yourself, to stretch into the fullness of who you are and bring your beautiful essence that is unlike anyone else on this planet, so that you can live into this beautiful life of fulfillment that is ours, so that we are not only flying on a Friday, but we are flying on a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday, a Friday, a Saturday, and a Sunday. And we are rejoicing every single day.